Hey everybody, so we're still in the unit on equations and inequalities, and today we're discussing how to solve and graph linear inequalities. Inequalities are mathematical expressions connected by these four symbols. Guessing you recognize them all. This is less than, this one is greater than, this one is less than or equal to, and this one is greater than or equal to. When solving an inequality, you can multiply or divide. If you multiply or divide by a negative number, you must flip the sign of the inequality. But if you don't multiply or divide by a negative number, you do not flip the inequality. Okay, let's start with this first problem. It says 2p is greater than or equal to 14. So you treat this just like you would an equation. We divide both sides by 2. That makes p greater than or equal to 7. There's no need for us to flip the sign because we didn't multiply or divide by a negative number. We do need to graph this problem. So you make a number line. I usually take whatever the target number is. This, like for instance here, 7, I put that right in the middle. And then I go up, 8, 9, down, 6, 5. Now, whenever you have a line underneath, so this is greater than or equal to, use a closed circle, and it says p is greater than or equal to this number, so it goes to the right where all the numbers are greater than. And that's it. That's our answer. Okay, let's try this one. We have negative 6y is less than negative 36. So the first thing I'm going to do is divide by negative 6 to both sides. These cancel. Get y over here, a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and this time we divided by a negative number. That means we need to flip the sign. So we have y is greater than 6. All right, now we go to graph our inequality. I put the number 6 right in the middle. To the right, the numbers go up as they get greater. To the left, the numbers go down as they get smaller. This time it says y is greater than 6. So over here we had a line underneath. Over here we don't. So that means I'm going to put an open circle at the 6. And it is still greater than, so I'm going to go to the right because the numbers to the right are greater than this. If you notice, the arrow that's on your graph and the arrow here should be facing the same direction as long as your variable is on the left-hand side of the inequality. Okay, next up we have this one. X divided by negative 4 is greater than or equal to negative 8. So to solve this, I'm going to multiply both sides of my equation by negative 4. And again, the reason for that is the opposite of multiplication is division. So since the original inequality had x being divided by negative 4, to undo that, I multiply by negative 4. Now, this is where I've seen students get mixed up before. If you multiply and divide by the same number, they cancel out. This does not become 16x or have an 8 anywhere. It's just they cancel out. This is just an x. Over here, a negative times a negative is a positive 32. And we did multiply by a negative number, which means we flip the sign. Okay, so I have x is less than or equal to 32. Now I'm going to make my number line. I'm sorry. Okay. 32 goes right in the middle. To the right, the number should be increasing. To the left, the number should be decreasing. This time my inequality does have a line underneath. That means we use a closed circle. And this time it is less than. So that means it goes off in the direction to the left because those are the numbers that are smaller than 32. And it says x is less than or equal to 32. Okay, let's try this problem. I have n divided by 3 is less than -9. So just as I did in this problem, I'm going to multiply both sides by 3. Because if you're dividing by 3, the opposite of that is to multiply by 3. These cancel. This is n. Over here, -9 times 3 is -27. Did we multiply or divide by a negative number? Do we need to flip the sign? No, we do not need to flip the sign. Even though our answer over here is negative, we did not multiply by a negative number. This is +3. So that means this does not get flipped. All right, now let's graph it. So I have -27 here in the middle. Now, just as a reminder, like how negative numbers work. If I go to the right, the numbers need to get larger and closer to 0. So this should be -26. This is -25. Okay. And then to the left, the number should get smaller and farther away from 0 on the number line because that would be going towards the positive numbers. These are going closer to the farther into the negative numbers. Okay, so just as a reminder, this is how number lines work for negative numbers, okay? As you go to the right, the numbers get larger and closer to 0. As you go to the left, the numbers get smaller and farther away from 0, okay? Since there is no line underneath my inequality symbol, I put an open circle. And it says n is less than -27, so it goes to the left. And that's it. That's my answer. Okay, so these are your try-it problems, and I'll break them up for you. Good work.